Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to stop people from being turned into rude, sketchy zombies who make more, and instead respect, look, walk, talk, and feel great, communicate well offline about online info, and be proud nationalists against globalism. So feel free to check out and support the manforwars.com efforts as you'd like. There's PayPal and direct deposit links below. And the most important thing is to financially support the manforwars.com efforts, because I typically politely show and get respect, or politely just keep my own and make sure I can help others have it, which leaves me in a strange situation in this climate at times. So no bitching, no snitching, but manforwars.com and as you'd like. But this video is called A Letter to Sir Owen Ben-ja-min on 163, The Value of Good Men. And Owen Ben-ja-min, a famous comedian, and definitely a counterculture guy, was a former Hollywood star and has now left Hollywood because of a lot of the corruption there and so on, and because his stance against, say, kids being told to become transgendered. He finds that child abuse, and Hollywood found that to be offensive, even though it's totally legitimate. You can see lots of sources on that. And so as a result of that, Owen Ben-ja-min has built up his own bear community where he's got tons and tons of people who also don't like what's going on, like the way he thinks, like his sense of humor, like the fact that he's a good guy. And so if you're an Owen Ben-ja-min fan, you probably know this, but if you're not, hopefully, you look into more of his work. But, this video is called A Letter to Sir Owen Ben-ja-min on 163, The Value of Good Men. And that is basically a live stream that he released today, November 13th, 2018. And I wrote a couple of kind of long comments on. I write in long, full sentences and sometimes paragraphs, and try and share with people I respect the way I think people should share with each other, as opposed to the new kind of, little, snarky, bitchy, kind of blurty, fractions of words that people share with each other. And then a lot of times they end up lonely because they're not really communicating well with each other. So I'm not saying you can't do that, but you should definitely mix it up. Anyway, so this is a letter to Sir Owen Ben-ja-min. On this video, I recommend you check out this video, which is 163, The Value of Good Men, as well as other stuff by Owen Ben-ja-min. But here's what I wrote. Hi, Owen. Awesome job as always. You're an inspiration in a sea of desperation, and we love you for it. Some thoughts. One, on the zebra herd analogy, and this is an analogy brought up by Professor Jordan Peterson, for example, where he says zebras have stripes, black and white stripes, not because they blend into the Serengeti and the desert and the jungle well, because there's not a lot of black and white striped stuff there, but because they blend in with each other well, so it helps them be part of the herd. And so Jordan Peterson has talked about, and this is a good thought, and Owen Ben-ja-min has echoed this, how many people like to be part of a herd. They don't want to be singled out of the herd by thinking different or looking different or walking different or talking different. They want to fit in. And if you take a bunch of zebras and you put a little bit of paint on one of those zebras, say you find a herd of zebras and you put some red paint on one, that zebra will be hunted down and killed in the jungle easily and quickly because it can't blend in with the other members of the herd. So that's the zebra analogy. So getting back to this, some thoughts. One, on the zebra analogy, that's also why women have to keep up with the latest fashions to fit in, or they feel they may be excluded from their girl herd, right? And that's also why. And women are more herd mentality, what's the right thing to do, how do we all fit in, whereas men are more individual, and so men should definitely speak on more things as individuals, challenge more things as individuals, and be the ones to say, no, this is wrong, as opposed to the ones worried about saying this is wrong. And they can get respect from other guys for it and from women for doing that if they're trying to do the right thing. Number two, I believe men should feel sorry for women and children instead of themselves, because it makes them happy and makes men scrappy. And I've got a song at manforwars.com in the music section called Killing Somebody for a Girl, which also reflects those thoughts. Number three, as part of that idea, I listened to Pearl Jam's classic song Better Man this morning before your stream to inspire me, and after working out while listening to you, I came up with the parody lyrics. She lies and says she's in love with him. She can't find Owen Ben-ja-min. Which is so true, eh? Thanks for helping women realize what they should look for instead of settle on. So yeah, basically this morning I saw Owen Benjamin's live stream. I was planning on working out, or his posting of his stream. On it's called The Value of Good Men. And I was like, okay, so I got inspired to listen to Pearl Jam's Better Man, the song Better Man, classic song, amazing song. And instead, and by the end, afterwards, I came up with, she lies and says she's in love with him. She can't find Owen Ben-ja-min, which is so true, eh? Thanks for helping women realize what they should look for instead of settle on. And it's true, Owen Benjamin being a good guy with a beautiful wife and beautiful kids, and trying to do the right thing and help make other good guys who can create the conditions so that women and kids can be happy and they can be good women and kids too. He gets a lot of response from women saying, where can I find a guy like you? They're not even creeping on him. They're not trying to screw up his relationship. They're not trying to say, hey, Owen, how can I steal you from your wife? They're just saying, where can I find someone like you? Where can I find a good guy like you? Right? I'm looking. There's all these betas and soys and cucked up messes near me, and these miserable, weak, lying, bitchy men, and ugh, gross, right? And so, as I said, thanks for helping women realize what they should look for instead of settle on, which Owen Benjamin helps do. And point number 4. Men feminized against their will without taking it seriously. And that's not being serious about being a Twinkie gay guy or serious about being a trans, being serious about being good at being a girl or good at being girly. Not that type of crap. But men feminized against their will without taking it seriously turn into rude, lying, sketchy, ugly girl zombies who can't get attention any other way except by sexually harassing men and jealously harassing women until everyone's a zombie. Or, quote, zombie want brains? Zombie make another zombie. Which is what guys do to guys who could help them if they respected each other, but instead end up not being able to talk to each other, and instead just try to make more zombies, right? And that's what happens. It's like, hey, I have to force you to put up with me like a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl. Hey, I like you. I'm going to do that. Okay, now we don't like and respect each other. Now, what can we do, right? Don't even feel like seeing each other anymore, right? And then jealously harassing girls because, even if they're getting more zombie-like, they're still technically better at it. And so they turn them into zombies too. But they still are not as good looking, so they're still upset, like jealous, rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. And that's what happens. And so back to what I wrote here. See my raw footage from Toronto, if you'd like, confirming this as 110% true. 110% true. Even above 100%. You can take a look at the raw footage if you want at manforwars.com or on my BitChute, or, YouTube deleted my last channel because I'm good at trying to help people get along, and that's the most important thing, so they communicate well about whatever the hell's going on, as opposed to just sort of bitching on the internet and then not being able to communicate offline. So YouTube punked me for that. But see my raw footage from Toronto if you'd like, confirming this as 110% true, including, like you, my total lack of fear of public speaking and proving it in front of thousands. And it's true, in this live stream when Owen Benjamin was talking about the zebra herd analogy, he talked about how that's why people's number one fear is public speaking. Getting out there as an individual, expressing yourself in front of a bunch of other individuals, and worrying about, how you're going to be treated. Well, he says he has no fear of that. Maybe if he's not prepared, he'll be a little nervous, but ultimately, he's a sharp, quick guy, and he's, being a good guy, so he's got some good things to say. So if there's a bunch of people there, he can do it. And I'm the exact same way. I know I can beat TV. I know I can beat Oprah. I know I can beat Cosmo. I know I can beat Men's Health. I know I can beat talk shows. I know I can beat the news. And I know I can be interesting. I can be a confident, happy, capable man who has, all the answers, even if they're not all correct. They're probably all useful, and they can help other people, find the correct answers. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. No problem. I'm right about a bunch of stuff. I don't mind being wrong. So, and if I learn the right answer, then I'm right soon after. So, hey, now I'm right about more stuff. So it's not that big a deal. So like Owen Benjamin, I have absolutely no fear of public speaking. And so as part of, being in front of crowds and documenting this, I've kind of shared what's going on, explained it while showing what's going on, and talked about what we could do about it to people who appreciate it in some ways and don't mind and whatever, and people or cops or security guards or whatever. It's like, probably could be helpful, But because they're getting more zombie-like, they can't really act on it. And because zombie want brains, zombie make another zombie, they just try and attack people with brains who could possibly help them and try and turn them into zombies. But they don't mind being ignored because the brainwashing seems to be lying bitches begging to be broken who get off and being ignored, and they like trying to make more zombies than actually succeeding in making zombies, because if they succeed in making zombies, then they've got to deal with other zombies to put up with, as opposed to the process they like, which is trying to make some nice, happy people into zombies. So ultimately, if most people were nice and happy, or a lot of people were nice and happy, and people walk around, hey, zombie want to bother you, and you're like, no thanks, not into it, and it's like, okay, fine, zombie run away, and then zombie can come back another day and try the same thing, and the zombie can be happy doing that, as opposed to successfully bothering you, and you putting up with and acting like it, rude line, bitchy, sketchy zombie, and then turning into a zombie, in which case, not so much fun anymore, because you're not someone that can be turned into a zombie. So even if people still want to act like nice, polite people, and some people still want to act like zombies, or rude, sketchy, crazy, mentally ill, or challenged homeless people, it's okay, because they'll get a chance to keep doing that if there's still nice, polite people around. Now, back to what I wrote here. The late, great Dr. Joseph Nicolosi, R.I.P., rest in peace, he died recently, I think last year, was a good guy who used safe talk therapy to cure unwanted homosexual behavior, mainly with men struggling with and asking for it. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy about this. Oh, no, don't say anything. Don't do anything. If you're gay, there's nothing wrong with that. So, hold on. Dr. Joseph Nicolosi used to get guys coming to him saying the gay way ain't working for me, right? I bang a lot of guys, I do a lot of drugs, I go to the parties, and I'm friggin' miserable, right? I'm doing everything, as much as I can, and it's not working for me, right? And what Dr. Joseph Nicolosi and his team used to do, working for decades out of California, is he wouldn't strap them to a chair and put electrodes on their brain and give them a lobotomy. They would have weekly sessions where they would talk about their issues. What was your childhood like? Were you molested? Did you have a strong father figure or a weak father figure? Did you have a shrill, miserable, bitchy mother who was strong but, missed and hated men? Is that who you identified with? Are you looking for a father or brother figure? And are you having trouble connecting with guys because you're trying to do it this way? And if you do it this way and it's not, what you should be doing, are you just screwing up your potential relationships with them? That's what he would talk to them about. And it was consensual, reparative therapy, where if you're not supposed to be gay and it's not working for you, then you can go to Dr. Joseph Nicolosi, you can talk about your issues, talk about your problems, talk about your past, talk about your relationships, and if you feel like it, through that process, which could take a few months or even a couple of years or a few years, you could come to terms with what you want to do. And if you're like, this isn't working for me, I want to go back into the gay lifestyle and be gay, then go ahead. He doesn't stop you. So it's healthy to have this option. That way, people who are straight can be good at being straight, and people who are gay can be good at being gay and trans or whatever, right? As opposed to, no, don't take this option away. Even guys who shouldn't be gay, you have to let them be gay anyway, even if they're miserable. It's wrong to even think that somebody shouldn't be. It's like, no. If you're a gay guy and you love being in the gay guy scene, and you love wearing short shorts and shaking your ass for other guys and blowing a whistle and having some drinks and going rollerblading and wearing matching sweaters, good for you. As long as you're not bothered by what you're doing or bothering other people or not respecting people and not getting respect, then who cares? Enjoy yourself. But you as a gay guy should not be a straight farmer in Iowa with a wife and 5 kids who has to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, pray to Jesus, get the kids ready for school, work all day, hope things go well, and come home, have the wife make us dinner, and be a good God-fearing Christian straight guy with a wife and 5 kids in Iowa. You shouldn't do that if you're supposed to be gay. But if you're supposed to be straight, then you shouldn't be dressing in short shorts, shaking your ass for other guys, blowing a whistle, rollerblading, blowing guys and having sex with guys. That you shouldn't be doing that. Right? So it should be important to keep these options open. So back to what I wrote here. Joseph Nicolosi, I'm referring to here, he's talked about how many men living the gay lifestyle had issues to resolve and were looking for men to help them, or father or brother figures, But once they acted gay with each other, they didn't respect each other and never wanted to see each other again. The gay way can work for some, but it's not for everyone. That's why globalists, super rich people above countries, try to weaken countries and people to control them for a global governance structure. That's why globalists promote it so much to screw everyone up. This is also why I'm promoting polite patriotism for everyone to help stop it. Best of luck, keep it up, and thanks. Cheers, BK. Black Krishna for manforwars.com. And it's true. That's why it's being promoted so much, to screw everybody up, right? Because if you're not supposed to, it's going to screw you up. If you are supposed to, then you should be doing it well, and you shouldn't be a mess for yourself or anyone else to deal with. But if you're not supposed to, this is going to screw you up. And when normal guys are feminized against their will, or gay washed, or trans washed, or whatever, they just end up screwing up with each other. And when men with unwanted homosexual thoughts are doing the same thing, then they end up connecting with each other in gay ways, or in trans ways, or in, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl ways that mean they don't respect each other. You might be like, hi, bro, I'm your hoe. I like you. I'm your hoe. And then it's like, great, now what? Now we don't respect each other no more. So what? So we're never going to see each other again. Let's not look at or talk to or listen to each other, because that's not how you're supposed to respect each other. You're not supposed to find some guy you like and pretend to be his lying, bitchy, sketchy, zombie hoe. It's not how you respect each other. You see a guy you like, you straight up, don't lie, look a man in the eye, polite and brief, on your way and out of the way, stay busy or friendly to be respected, firm handshake, be cool with each other, don't make each other uncomfortable, look at, talk to, listen to each other, and if there's somebody you respect, and you can carry yourself with some respect, then you can show some and you can get some from that guy you respect. If not, if you're feminized against your will and you're not someone who took it seriously and tries to be good at it, then you're just going to screw up with everybody you know by acting like, lying, bitchy, sketchy, zombie hoes, right? And so I say here at the end of this is also why I'm promoting polite patriotism for everyone to help stop it. Because being polite is the most important thing. Being polite, ladies and gentlemen, which means 95+% of people who are straight can be great at it, and they can set the ground rules for wherever you live, like world famous nice polite Canadians, or polite Americans, or Europeans, or wherever you live, right? And then people who are lesbian or gay or trans or whatever can actually have some good role models, so they can be a little different, but they can fit in generally with polite people, and then once in a while at their own special event they can get their freak on, just like different minority groups or special interest groups at their own events get their freak on. So for example, gay people, trans people, Indian people, Chinese people, whatever, right? Typically nice, polite, all pretty much the same, nice, polite ladies and gentlemen, politely respect and acknowledge each other, and then don't bother each other, and then know they're cool and mind their business, or politely respect each other and look at or talk to each other, or be nice to each other and share being attractive in appropriate ways when you respect each other with, the appropriate genders, no problem. And then at the Pride Parade, gay people get their freak on. At the Indian Parade, the Diwali Parade, or the Holi Festival, they put on different clothes and they, burn some incense and coconuts and they splash each other with, paint, and they freak out. Or the Chinese Parade, they break out the Chinese. But otherwise, generally, just nice, polite people. No big deal. All polite in very similar ways. And then because they respect each other in similar ways, they can express themselves as individuals. And the polite patriotism is, if people are polite and people are generally polite, they can all be helpful. They can all be, men feel useful, men want to feel useful, women want to feel special, or male creatures, or female creatures, or masculine creatures, or feminine creatures. We can all kind of feel that. And then when generally people find it easy to communicate and find a value in being nice to and helping each other, patriots can come in with more red-pilled information saying, well, as part of this culture where we're all nice to each other and we communicate well, here's more information about what you have to know, and it's easy for us to share it with each other and pass it on. So that's why polite patriotism is so important, because otherwise you'll have people online communicating well and then offline quiet, fake, silly, bitchy, sketchy, or sullen, bitchy, sketchy, or shrill, bitchy, sketchy, and not really communicating well. And then you'll have tons of people online going, this is crazy, this is awful, government sucks, this is ridiculous, people need to wake up. And then offline, can't respect each other and communicate about it. And then online, on Twitter, YouTube comments, whatever, this is crazy. And then offline, can't do shit. right? And this also is part of the offline information war, where you can put stuff out offline and it can sort of force people to think and deal with it, if they want to. But, it's just like the Go Transit Better Etiquette campaign in Toronto on the Go Transit system that travels to, from, and around Toronto. When they were getting complaints from their riders that they were being rude to each other, they put up a bunch of better etiquette posters on the Go trains and buses, and the same people who were complaining about being rude to each other saw those posters, saw each other, saw those posters, saw each other, and then there was a 40% reduction in rude antisocial behavior over 6 months. 85% of people said they saw the campaign and liked it. They think it's a good idea to promote people being polite, and there were thousands of social media impressions. So may not happen right away, but with the offline information war, if people say, well, I keep seeing that poster that says it's better to be nice to people than garbage bothering people, making more garbage bothering people. So after a while it kind of sinks in and people start, treating each other better and so on, right? So that's the offline information war. So polite patriotism as part of that package, manforwars.com. And then, as an addendum to that, he also mentioned how some places are switching to paper straws instead of plastic straws, because all of a sudden plastic straws are going to kill the world. Plastic straws are what we all have to freak out about. Plastic straws are going to make us all die in 20 years. So you have to use crappy paper ones, shitty paper ones, paper straws. And paper, when it comes and gets in touch with moisture, like something you're drinking, tends to melt, fall apart, and it just makes you miserable. And Owen Ben-ja-min was saying, they're just doing this are they just doing this to make us miserable? Like, yeah, you all have to use paper straws now. You better do that. It's bad for the environment. Look at these idiots. Look at how horribly miserable we're making them. Yeah, it might be some people doing that, right? So he talked about how stupid it is. As if plastic straws are our biggest concern. But anything can be made a huge concern by the media, and with a zombified herd-like population that insists on all acting like zombies and not being different, you can convince them to do anything, right? So, I made another comment on this that says, also on the, quote, straw man argument and banning them, I'm glad you're taking a stand. Globalists, again, super rich people above countries trying to control countries and people and bring them into a global governance structure. Nationalists worldwide in different countries, it's a real thing, it's happening all over the world. Nationalists try and preserve their country, their character, their borders, their identity, and so on, and be great places to live and great places to visit. And then when it comes to things like immigration, they can have enough resources for themselves, make sure of that, some extra wanted ads in the paper, and bring in some of the best and brightest from around the world who really want to assimilate and integrate well, not subvert your culture or screw up the vibe of your house party. So that's nationalism versus globalism, and that's why nationalism is so important. Now, with respect to that, so I said here, also on the, quote, straw man argument and banning them, I'm glad you're taking a stand, I say to Sir Owen Ben-ja-min. Globalists are driving leftists, that's the radical leftists, liberals, but the globalists controlling leftists and liberals in the media, it's not normal liberals, where liberals are like, hey, I defend to your death the right to say what you say, even if I disagree, because next time it could be me. No, the leftists are like, nope, don't talk to people you disagree with, and then deplatform them online and offline and don't do anything with them, and then have trouble talking with each other and be quiet zombies who are easier to control. Right? So this is the leftists, that are corrupting modern liberals and everybody else. And that's the globalist control of that type of radical fringe, trying to make it mainstream to turn people into commie zombies. So I say here, globalists are driving leftists crazy. They may see some nice person using a plastic straw and think, oh no, you're using a straw. Straws cause climate. I'm joking and not joking, as the new earth worship religion based on paranoia about what may happen in 20 years. At the top is a plan, and at the bottom, melon green commie zombie nightmare. And by watermelon green, as I say here, I mean, or quote, green on the outside, but quote, red, communist red on the inside. Communists have killed millions of their own people before, so it has to be taken seriously, but thanks for adding humor too. Cheers. BK, Black Krishna for manforwars.com. So, I guess I'll put a copy of these comments below in the video. Otherwise, and I'll put a link to this live stream that I'm commenting about as well, which I really think I recommend you check out, because it does help you make you feel better as a man. If you want to feel better as a man, if you're a woman and you like men and women, or at least you want to be able to, and so on, then it's good for you, and it's good for everybody to get a handle on some of these issues. And there you have it. And so when it comes to me, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com, there's PayPal donation and direct deposit donation links, information below, and so feel free to support the Man for Wars efforts as you'd like. Otherwise, I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.